Don't quote me on this, but I believe reading or hearing once upon a time that something like 80% of all deferred compensation plans offered by big, huge public and non-public companies included insurance products, in particular life insurance policies, because of their tax benefits, especially for their higher compensated individuals. Now, there's no minimums, and there's no maximum like there is with IRAs. There's no pre-age 59 and a half penalty. There's no 5-year rule like a Roth. The death benefits are tax-free. You don't get a death benefit typically that leverages up your contributions in any other kind of a benefit. And if you die, of course, your kid's education gets paid for, your mortgages can get paid off, buy-sell agreements funded, and unlike a regular pension plan or defined benefit, you don't have to pay actuaries and administrative costs. It's pretty darn competitive when you compare all of the benefits that you receive from utilizing a permanent life insurance policy as a supplement to other retirement plans. Back on the program, Gene Pastula, an expert in this particular area, certified financial planner. Gene, one would say, well, I can do a Roth IRA and get the same tax treatment, can I not?
Yeah, you can, with obviously the government regulations and restrictions that you just mentioned. Yeah, of course you can. You know, it's interesting. These kinds of plans have been available for decades from insurance companies, as you pointed out. I mean, large companies have been using them for years for deferred compensation and extra comp for their executives and key employees and the like. The interesting thing about this is that that insurance tends to be in the mind of the average or the typical client or prospective client or individual that's looking at financial options. They put it in the classification of I'm buying something and I'm paying for it. And then when you combine that with what you sit down and you just laid out a bunch of advantages and features and benefits that are too good to be true. I mean, it does everything that one would want in a retirement account, and even now the newer ones of these have a way of accumulating your money that's based on the performance of the stock market. As the stock market increases and does well, interest rates in the insurance policy go up. But if the stock market goes down, there is no corresponding down in your insurance policy. So you have even that added to the mix, and a person listening to this story from someone who maybe they just met or haven't yet learned to trust, they say, "Oh no, that's over the top. It's too good to be true, and I'm not going to pay money. I'm not going to pay or buy one of those." And instead of looking at it as an investment where you're not so much paying for something as you are investing in it in a plan that will accomplish this. And that's an interesting concept to get your head around, and obviously why it's basically new to probably everybody you talk to about it. I'm sure that the majority of our audience is who have listened to this are going, "What? Wait a minute."
Yeah, well, you know what? But what they should do, Gino, what they should do is they should take a look at it themselves. As I said, this works probably all the way up to age 55, and I even know some older people that have taken advantage of these types of contracts for different reasons. But you brought up the concept of indexing. Actually, Jim Harbaugh's plan is called an Index Universal Life, which I know you have spoken of on more than one occasion on this program. And here's the deal. I mean, Harbaugh's already a millionaire, many times over, I'm sure. Highly popular football coach, played in the bigs. As I said, I met him once when he was at San Diego. But the fact is, he's got attorneys, accountants, and agents, and all these people around him. And Gene, they must have signed off on this. They must have signed off on this rather than a traditional deferred compensation plan. So why would all of his advisors say, yeah, let's jump on this when it's not in his best interest?
If it wasn't something really, really good. Yeah, and when you add to that the fact that I mean, these are not fly-by-night little companies that are offering to provide these kinds of plans. I mean, these are big name, 100-year-old, 50-year-old financial institutions that are doing this under tax law that's been around for decades, since the 50s.
You should contact me, Mr. Pastula. Gene, right. you can provide our viewers and listeners with like a spreadsheet that shows them how this might work for them. You can do that, can't you?
Yeah, in fact, I can send them a paper that walks them through it, and if they're really serious about it, I mean, if they think that this sounds like something that they really would like to seriously consider, I can even send them a book called Tax-Free Retirement by Patrick Kelly that's very popular, that walks them through this whole idea. It takes them from beginning to end on retirement, and it's a great primer. But what it shows in the book is why a lot of people will actually stop putting money into their regular IRA and use this, because in a regular IRA, the only tax savings you're getting is on the money that you put in, and then once you've put it in there and you want to take it out, you pay taxes on everything that you put in, plus all the growth and everything else. So you save taxes on 15% of the total amount, and then pay taxes at the other end on 100%. Whereas in this approach, which obviously is similar to Roth, you pay taxes on that first 15%, but then there's no taxes ever after that. And once people start to realize that, and depending on how their personal financial situation is set up, they can see the true value in it.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Gene Pastula's website, safemoneymonitor.com. Hit him up for the book. You're going to send me one of those books, aren't you?
I will do that, yeah.
All right, I want to read it. As you know, I've written on this subject before, and in the olden days...
a lot of the book, what's in the book, you've already written about, but you'll find that the way he lays it out is pretty compelling.
And probably a lot more so than mine, as what I took from that. That's a whole different thing. No, just kidding. But go to safemoneymonitor.com. Get a copy of the white paper and the book, and then ask Gene, if you are serious, to run the numbers for you, what it looks like for you based on your budget and so forth. And then you can do the compare and contrast. Gene, one of my pet peeves in this area is because insurance is looked on by the investing public and certainly the brokerage community with some jaundice, if you will. A lot of people that sell these, not you, oversell them, and they show them numbers that are, appear way too good to be true. You're going to give them a realistic look at what this could do for them, correct?
Most definitely, yes. The interesting thing is, I've been doing this for obviously something very close to it, for 40 years. I mean, I've watched the way the cash values in these contracts accumulate. I've experienced it personally myself. And I know that there's always a tendency for salespeople to give the absolute best possible,
right,
face on something like this, and maybe overshoot it a little bit, which is, I think, kind of silly, because even at the most modest projections and assumptions that are easily achieved, it's extremely impressive and compelling. So
impressive it is. Gene Pastula, safemoneymonitor.com. Have him pop for the book for you, all right? Tell him I said so. All right, he'll do it. He will do it. He's a good guy, a really good guy. Certified financial planner, safemoneymonitor.com. Find out if you should have a plan similar to the one that Jim Harbaugh now has from the University of Michigan. You know, the way I look at it, if it's good enough for Jim, it's got to be good enough for me. I was a quarterback too. He was a quarterback, and he's a darn good coach. I was a coach. I wasn't a very good coach. Thank you, Gene Pastula. We'll take a quick break, come back with your emails right here at raylucia.com.